Hi friends, welcome to my rockstar daughter. If you like my video, please subscribe.
To subscribe to my channel, please click the red subscribe button which is here. And for notifications on my new video uploads, please click the bell button here. And yes, please don't forget to hit the like button if you like my videos. Thank you. Hi friends, my today's video is all about the questions and their answers that are asked during your child's school admission interview. Here I have tried to touch few important questions that are generally asked in any school interview, and I have also tried my best to give an elaborate answer to each question. I have tried my best to accommodate the main questions that are generally asked during the interview, and I really hope it helps you in getting a school of your choice for your child. I would also like to mention one important thing. Always remember that, whatever the question or whatever the things that they ask you during the school interview is to basically, check whether, just to find out how interested you are in seeking admission in the school, and to check, how much time or how able would a parent be, in providing support to the child, just to check, how much time would you be able to invest with your child in maybe doing their homework, in their extracurricular activities, with their projects. So basically, yeah, they check, the parent's attitude, or how keen a parent is in upbringing a child in a very healthy environment. So basically, they check that. So let us begin with the questions and their answers. Tell us about your educational qualifications and profession. Here they want to know how qualified you are. Basically, will you be able to help your child in his studies, in doing their homeworks, in completing their projects, etc. So how helpful would you be in the overall upbringing of your child? So here you have to just tell them pretty straight, like, what yours or your better half's, your wife or your husband's educational qualifications are. And when they ask you about your profession, that is also pretty much a straight question. So you just have to give your answer about your profession, whether you are a software engineer or a teacher or a professor. So basically just tell them about the profession which you are into. Question asked to mother: are you working or are you a housewife? We all know how important is a mother to a child, how important role a mother plays in overall development of a child. So here also again the same concern of the school is same, whether the mother is available for the child all the time whenever the child needs her, be it with the school activities, with their homeworks, again the same, with their projects. So they want basically a mother to be available for the child all the time. I know there are you also must be knowing there are many schools who prefer a mother who is a homemaker. So it's better to check before going for an admission, whether the school in which you want your child to be admitted to, whether they prefer a housewife mother or they are open for, working mothers too. So even if even if you are working, you are a working professional, maybe you could just stress to the school, that even though you're working, your professional life is pretty much balanced, and even though you're away, you have a good support system. Maybe your in-laws or your parents could just come and live with you, and they could be there whenever you are not there at home to take care of the child. So basically you could just stress them that you have a good support system, and that should work. So whenever you are asked a question about your profession, do mention that, even though you're working, you have a good support system. So that should not be an issue. The child is always taken care of. Tell us about your family members. So here you have to tell them whether you have a joint family or a nuclear family. This is again a way of checking, how is your support circle. So all the question that a school asked is basically revolving around the same thing, just to check how well a child is surrounded by, what is the support that the child gets from the house. So in case you have a joint family, then pretty much you can just explain to them about the members who are there, and tell them, there are many members here who can support your child in every aspect. And in case of a nuclear family, here also, before stating anything, just stress a bit on, that it's not because of some other reasons that you have shifted. It's just that, the opportunities that was available here, the job opportunities and other opportunities which are available here, was not there where you belong to, where your family is. So even though you love to be staying, you love your family, you would love to stay with them, but due to certain reasons you had to shift. So so even though in a nuclear family, though you're away from your family, but the help is always there. You have your relatives nearby, you have your neighbors, so whenever required they are there to help, so your child would never be left alone. Tell us something about your child. Here you can mention some positive attitude of your child, like he's very social, he's a fast learner, or he loves to dance, he loves drawing, he loves playing with other kids and making new friends. And in case your child is a bit introvert, you could just mention it, in a light manner, like, my child is a bit sensitive, but once he's settled in the new environment, he's a pretty jolly kid. So this is something you could just mention when asked about your child. How do you teach your child about good habits and good values? Here you can start by saying the best way a child learns is by watching or following their parents. So we try our best to do whatever we teach the child. Like, for example, we try to say thank you for any help that we get from him. We tend to say sorry or please for doing anything wrong or for asking help. And also we have a good reading routine, like we have a bedtime routine where we read out good story books to him or to her, books based on good habits, good manners, on good values. So a child tend to learn better by listening to stories by about their favorite characters. So we try to use her favorite character and teach good values by giving her examples. Also, you could mention that you watch news and other educational channels with your child. Though your child is pretty small, like you could say that my child is a bit small to understand the news, but it's a good way of inculcating a habit of watching news, so that once they grow up, they have that habit of watching informative channels, and that could help them be a bit aware about what's happening around them. So, along with her cartoon channels, I also make her watch certain informative or information channel. What does your child loves to do? Here, you can mention about your child hobbies, like drawing or dancing or singing, or maybe his interest in cycling or skating, swimming. So here pretty much you can just tell them about what your child loves to do. Is your child potty trained? Here you can tell them yes or no, depending upon your child. If yes, if your child is potty trained, then mention yes, my child is potty trained. And in case he or she is not, you could just frankly tell them that, no, right now my child is not potty trained. We are in the process of teaching him, and as as a child, accidents might happen. So we would really appreciate and appreciate your support on toilet training our child. Why did you choose our school? Here you can start by mentioning that your school is one of the best school of our city, and it is pretty close to my place too. So I'm lucky in that case, and you could just start by saying some good points about the school. Talk a bit about the history of the school. Maybe you could go through the website for this. Then you can mention that you have heard about how good the school is. You've got good feedback from parents whose kids are already studying in the school, and you can mention that you have heard from them that you have a balanced curriculum like studies plus extracurricular activities. You provide swimming, horse riding, skating. So you could mention whatever the school has to offer. You could mention a brief about that to them, and you could mention about how supportive their faculty is and how they take care of each and every child individually. So that's about it. So you could basically mention some good points about the school and that made you choose that school over the other. So that's it for this video today. I hope you like my video and I wish you all the very best. And you can also check my other video on how to get your child ready for the school interview. I have provided the link in the description box below. So thank you. See you again. Bye.